Hello and welcome back to NoBS. Today we turn to talking about one of the biggest YouTubers out there and a very charitable and all-around nice guy. I'm of course talking about Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast was recently under fire because of an old video that came back to light, as things tend to do in this day and age. Yes, we're of course talking about cancel culture and how people like to dig up old jokes and comments and tweets and videos and use them against popular people in the present. This is a common woke, left-wing, liberal-style tactic that's been getting more and more common each passing day. It's really sick, it's really lame, and it's kind of coming from their own systems too. They're the ones pushing this PC woke culture. They're trying to get things more locked down and less open and free. They're trying to hamper freedom of speech. They're trying to censor things all the time. And this is a big part of it. The way they do it is they change the customs and the way things are in the present. Like, for example, we're just way more politically correct now. You can't make as many jokes. You can't talk about certain things. Everything is very, very specific. And that's the way we are in the present. And the next trick is they time travel and they go back, say, 4 or 5 years ago to something you said in the past, and they hold the modern sensibilities against it. This is super wrong, super lame. It's actually happened to a lot of people recently, including yours truly. And that's why I'm very, very against this. And that's why I feel for someone like Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast is a big YouTuber who's very popular, also very rich, always gives away lots of money too. He's known for having these sorts of charity videos where he gives away money. He gives big presents to his friends, to poor people, all kinds of cool stuff like that. He is pretty much a nice guy. And that's why it's so funny that he's getting canceled. He's like pretty much hard to critique. Like, it's hard to go against someone that's that charitable. And that's why it looks really bad when leftists are doing it right now. So we're going to get to the reasons why. We're going to talk about the story, the jokes he made, and why it's super, super lame in great detail. But first, let's take a quick moment to check out our sponsor. Virtual Shield makes the only virtual private network that I know and trust, and I keep it on my computers and smart devices pretty much 24/7, always while I'm browsing online. Virtual Shield has a strict no log policy, plus it was built from the ground up specifically for privacy protection and not to make a profit off your data. Virtual Shield believes you have a right to remain private, as do we here at NoBS. And now, a special offer due to the recent pandemic, Virtual Shield is offering its services 50% off to help customers in need to protect themselves. So go to my custom link, which is below this video, or you could type in virtualshield.com/NoBS. Thanks for your time today. Make sure you check out those links, and for now, let's get back to the show. Great, now that that's out of the way, let's get back to the Mr. Beast story. As this article says, it says, why is Mr. Beast canceled? YouTuber comes under fire after old video surfaces. Let's go ahead and read on. Mr. Beast, aka Jimmy Donaldson, is known for his YouTube channel, which has amassed over 40 million subscribers since its creation in 2012. The YouTuber has gained a huge following due to his expensive pranks and challenges and philanthropy. His most popular videos on YouTube show him giving away a lot of money both to charity and friends who take part in his challenges. Recently, however, Mr. Beast has been facing criticism on Twitter after an old video resurfaced. Read on to find out more. Here, Peter Griffin tweets, I was right, Mr. Beast is canceled. Mr. Beast is going to get canceled this year. That was his previous tweet, making a prediction. Now we're going to get to why and how it came from this Deaf Noodles guy. Mr. Beast has been canceled on Twitter by some fans after a video from 2016 resurfaced where he makes a joke about gender. Some users have said that joke was transphobic. The video has since been deleted, but Twitter user Deaf Noodles uploaded the clip onto Twitter for fans to watch after being sent the video by a third party. Mr. Beast can be heard saying, I was born a tank, but sadly it wasn't one of our 52 genders. Is someone just sitting there and getting paid to think of genders? Okay, now we're getting to the real meat of this story. So first of all, you have this up and coming YouTuber Noodles who's trying to call people out all the time. I've seen him make some pretty radical, pretty bogus claims before too. Like, for example, a couple weeks ago, he was trying to get some kid in trouble for vaping, and he's just like really nosy and butting into like drama and trying to get that going on YouTube. You could see that from this. He's trying to get after someone like Mr. Beast, like he's social climbing or clout chasing, as it may be. And you know, it's just really lame to me because it's like, okay, he made a joke about gender. This is not transphobic. First of all, this is also 4 years ago. 2016 is basically a different world. This is where a lot of my old quotes come from too. too, like when you make a joke and you thought you could say things. YouTube used to have lots of jokes like this. I had videos before that era too, like when I started my first channel in 2012, 2013, 2014. I remember there used to be so many funny channels and you could make all kinds of jokes. You could curse, you could talk about whatever, you can make an offensive joke about race or girls or guys or, dating. Like you could talk about anything. Nowadays, it's totally locked down. And this person trying to expose Beast is taking advantage of that. And they're trying to imply he has some kind of offense here, but I don't see it. Like the joke, I've seen these clips of this video too, and it's actually just a little goof. It's kind of funny. And essentially what he says, and from what I remember the video, I'm not sure we can even show it, but basically it's like a joke about all these genders coming around and how this kind of wave of LGBTQ activism and, woke kind of like alphabet people stuff. None of that's really addressed specifically though. Like the video is pretty vague and pretty innocent. All they do is pretend to be a helicopter. Like one of the guys does that whole attack helicopter joke, which is just a basic meme that says, oh, if there's all these genders, then maybe I could be a helicopter gender. And then in the video, it's like Mr. Beast's friend trying to dress up like a helicopter and Beast comes in and they just have a laugh. Like it's not that bad. It's not bad at all, really. If you're just thinking about making a joke video or how YouTube was in 2016, I mean, that's basically like going back in time like 20 years or something. It's crazy how much changed over time. And that's not just YouTube. That's like woke culture in the public, the Democrats taking over, locking things down, getting more offended. And a lot of it was the fallout of the 2016 election. That, of course, was when Donald Trump became president. And in reaction to that, the liberals kind of just got out of control. They've had Trump derangement syndrome ever since. And that's why we've gotten to this point where now even the nicest YouTubers of all time, like I said, Mr. Beast, all I could say, he just seems like the nicest guy. He does these philanthropy things. He does challenges. He donates. He gives a lot back to his community. I remember one time last year, whenever I first was contacted by a friend of his, and it was like, oh, we're doing this planting thing. It was like a tree planting thing that all YouTubers got involved in. You might remember this. I think it was like on Earth Day last year. And they're basically trying to get every YouTuber they could find to like plant a tree and get the environment better, And I was like, yeah, that's cool. I mean, I'm not big on this environment stuff and all this like activism, but if you're just talking about planting some trees, like who can argue against that? That's just nice. Just adding to nature, just trying to spread a little joy and a little happiness out there. But that's besides the point. The point is today we have another YouTuber, a noodles YouTuber going after Mr. Beast and it turning into this big story, and he had to delete his video. I'm not sure how far the backlash got to Beast. I think he might have just gotten a little heat from it. Like this article implies, he just was totally deleted. But all I see is a few tweets, a few people talking about it. This person says, people citing the year as sort of an excuse for this behavior need to shut up. Transphobia will never be okay, regardless of the time it happened. So these are some real radicals. Like this is not transphobia. Making a joke about genders is not that bad. I mean, that's the thing that these people don't realize when they use these terms so broadly, like transphobia. It totally neuters the term. It doesn't really mean much when you just have someone making a joke about helicopters and that's transphobic. It's like, no. First of all, transphobia and homophobia just sound like you're scared of trans and gay people. So the word really looks wrong to me already. It sounds like some made up, liberal jargon that they use to try to like make it sound worse. It's like, okay, you're basically saying you can't say anything bad or joke about trans people. That's the implication here. The alphabet people are untouchables, essentially. And that's just really messed up too, because it's like, do you guys want equality? Do you want to be a part of this society and be like everyone else? Or do you want to be treated better than everyone else? Because that's what I'm seeing with this. It seems like they're saying you can't even joke about gender when really it's so ripe for comedy. I mean, that's why this joke was made in 2016. It just obviously anyone watching from the outside is like, yeah, this is great comedy. There's 52 genders and 26 females and 32 dudes. And, all this other just ridiculous stuff. It's like, yeah, you guys are setting yourselves up for one. And then two, making jokes isn't transphobic. Like if I were to accept this term and go along with it. I would say transphobic is someone who literally hates trans people, you know, like maybe even mildly dislikes them. You could go with that too. But when you get to like dislike and mildly dislike, and then it's just like, oh, you're just making a joke. It's like, how bad is transphobia then really? You're just basically saying anyone who mentions alphabets in a way you don't like is a phobia. And that's just totally destroying the term. I mean, it's like saying, oh, you're trying to act like, you know, I call someone transphobic. That's like they're a murderer. It's like, no, they're not a murderer. They just waved at you from across the street. Like that's just totally different levels. And it just destroys the term. And I think that's the biggest point to come out of this. This next response reads from Will. It says, I think this is just ignorance. We were all a bit less educated in 2016. I hope and believe he has grown and evolved since then. I don't think it's anywhere near the level of Shane Dawson's many racist and inappropriate comments about children, for example. Yeah, Shane Dawson is another YouTuber who had some much more edgy jokes from back in the day. And he's still a YouTube golden boy. I don't think actually, you know, Mr. Beast has faced too much trouble from this. I think it's just maybe a few unsubscribers or just bad comments. I know he's responded on Twitter too. He already deleted the video and he said something about kind of like expanding, starting some new channels, you know, like kind of going away from this stuff maybe. And yeah, I think the other thing I don't like about this comment is there's less educated. Like we're more educated now. Like we're all on this higher level because of, you know what, woke culture, activism, BLM, all that stuff is not making us like smarter and more evolved. It's like regressing us actually. Like when we go towards the left, we're getting more racist, more like identity focused. That's like back in the time, like back when people were all obsessed with their race, like black versus white, civil rights era. Like that's where we're going. We're not progressing. We're not more educated now. We're just getting absorbed by this liberal Democratic Party who controls so much in the media. They control social media, the news, the TV channels, Hollywood. I mean, it's really easy for them to try to clamp this down. But basically, the only thing they don't control is the White House. And God forbid they get in the White House. Because think about that. Think about a total monolithic Democratic country here. Like we'll never be conservative again. We'll never have other viewpoints. And basically, if the Democrats do take over fully, I mean, it's just like they're doing now. They're going to keep silencing anyone who steps out of line, anyone they don't like. God forbid you're a conservative and trying to vote against them. But even then, you could be a Mr. Beast or a Shane Dawson, like just some apolitical YouTubers who do funny stuff sometimes. And one of your old jokes is going to get you canceled when it really shouldn't. I think we live in a world where we can make jokes and comedy videos, and we should be able to have fun and goof on everyone. Like these guys are trying to basically say alphabets are untouchable, and that's what's really, really frustrating to me. That about wraps things up. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Make sure you comment your thoughts and everything below. Also hit the like button to get this thing shared. Subscribe if you're new, and hit the bell for notifications too. Until next time, have a great day and a wonderful tomorrow, everyone. You're the best.